in the second half, Shea Lacey, that really stood up, and he scored a brace, one of which was a fantastic free kick. A lot of really good free kicks.
I was going to say, that's 3 in 3 games now. What's going on here? Because at top level, no one's scoring free kicks that often.
It's weird because you'd think technically there's not much different that's happening there.
No. Hello and welcome to Stretford Paddock. My name is Joe. That is Finn, aka Academy Scoop, and this is Academy Review. Finn, how you doing?
I'm very well, thank you. Yeah,
good.
A little bit of a mixed bag this week, but excited to get into it.
Lots to talk about. I mean, I'd take a mixed bag at the minute because the first team, the bag has got a hole in. It's somehow soaking wet and on fire, and nothing is working at the moment.
Yeah, not at all. And I think when it comes to the academy, even a mixed bag in terms of results will always be a positive because there's development happening. There are lessons being learned. Yeah. So yeah. Excited to talk
very
about
exciting. So we've got 3 games to talk about. Talk about a couple of under-21s game and that under-18s derby as well.
Absolutely.
But before that, let's talk a little bit about the end of a chapter. Nick Cox, who, what was his official title again?
The director of the academy.
So he's the director of the academy, has actually left Manchester United now. It was announced a couple of months ago. Talk us through that transition, why he's still been here, and what we expect sort of after his departure. Yeah.
So obviously earlier in the summer, it was announced that he would be departing this year to join Everton as their new technical director. So, a really big role for him, and kind of understandable that he saw that as the kind of next step in his career. So fair enough. But United agreed to void the gardening leave that was in his contract so that he could, start that move quicker as a kind of gesture of goodwill. But they did agree that he would stick around for a couple of months to kind of aid that transition period, to enable United to find a successor, because I believe that his move to Everton developed quite quickly and United hadn't quite had a chance to line up someone new. So now that Stephen Torpey, his replacement, is in place, and he's had a couple of months to learn the system, learn the academy. Now Nick Cox this weekend has officially departed, left his role, it's quite a big change for the club. Obviously, he's been so influential. Been here for almost 10 years, he left on the website, on the Manchester United website, a kind of summative article sharing some reflections and thoughts after his time at the club, and sharing some gratitude to all the people he worked with and the fans. So I definitely recommend giving that a read because it's very interesting. Lots of change at the club.
Yeah, lots of change, and like we said before about the first team, probably more to come soon. But we'll see. Let's have a look at this this first game then, because we're going back and doing this chronologically. So Wednesday it was Manchester United versus Athletic Club in the PL International Cup.
Yes.
First of all, so this is under 21s.
Yep.
Tell me, what is the PL International Cup? Because I've heard of the UEFA Youth League, but this isn't that.
This isn't that. This is unfortunately the only European competition that United's 18s or 21s are playing in, because obviously we're not in the UEFA Youth League because the first team let the academy down. It's an under-21 competition. It pits 16 Premier League teams against other teams that are picked from across Europe to participate. Usually they're kind of Champions League level clubs.
Okay.
So for example, in the next few weeks, United will be facing Anderlecht, Dortmund and Sporting. This game is against Athletic Club, who are also of like a really respectable level. There's a group phase and then it goes into a kind of cup format after that. So another really good experience for the young players to be exposed to different styles of football, play different teams, across Europe. And I think it's especially important in a season where you're not going to get that under-18 UEFA Youth League experience, because that definitely is seen as kind of the most prestigious European tournament. It's the one that you really want to be taking part in and pitting your young players against the best in Europe.
Have we ever won that? We haven't. Have we?
We've never won it. No. The only English club that have is Chelsea. A few years ago. But it's not the same, but it's still a decent level.
So let's get into the game then. Obviously, this was at Old Trafford as well.
Yeah.
Talk me through how it went. What it looked like.
Yeah. So the first half was actually quite difficult for United. Athletic Club's side were a lot older than United's, because most of our team was composed of last year's under-18 second years, whereas Athletic Club had quite a few players closer to the 21 age limit. They pressed really well and were clearly a kind of very well-coached side, as you'd expect from a top-level Spanish academy. That's what you get. You get high possession, intense play, and you get players that are capable of holding onto the ball and really making it a nightmare to defend against.
I guess with Athletic Club as well, because of their policy of only having players from the Basque region, I would maybe assume that their academy is more likely to end up in the first team because their pool of potential transfers is smaller, isn't it? So do they rely on this academy as actually playing a lot of games for them? Yeah,
absolutely. There's a lot of onus on them to be making sure that they can bring players through from the academy. Yeah. So as a byproduct of that, their academy is at a very high level. So it was very difficult for United to start off with. They did open the scoring in the first half through a really good free kick. Their player Asier Hierro, kind of low-driven free kick threaded through United's wall and in at the bottom right corner. Disappointing one for United to take, but they were able to kind of switch the game up in the second half. Substitutes of McAllister, Lacey, Ibrahimov and Biancheri kind of changed the momentum, and Travis Binion made the changes at the right time to switch things around. It was also interesting to see Jack Fletcher playing at left back at times in this game, which is really unconventional for him. He often plays as a kind of attacking midfielder or a little bit deeper. And United like to do that with some players just to make sure that they're getting experience playing in a number of different roles, add some versatility and kind of some just general game understanding, which we'll talk about later because it actually led to the second goal. But the first one was Biancheri picking up the ball on the right wing, running it down about 50 yards. It was a really impressive run, and James Scanlon was making a run into the box. A small detail that I picked up on that was, just showed a little bit of experience and know-how from him. He was at first making the run to the far post. He was calling for the ball there, and then at the last moment arced his run inside, so Biancheri was able to find him just on the edge of the 6-yard box, and he was able to poke it home. Nice. To equalise for United. Yeah,
lovely. I mean, I'm sorry to bring it back to the first team all the time because I know that we're here to talk about the academy, but when even just you describing a goal feels almost alien, like the striker making an intelligent run. Yeah. Players carrying the ball confidently up the pitch. It's so in contrast to what we're seeing at the first team at the minute. Is it nice just? Obviously we'll describe the rest of the game as that. Is it nice just to watch these games and watch teams that more often than not are winning? Like, is that a nice respite from watching the first team all the time?
Honestly, that's a large part of the interest for me, is the fact that the football almost always is enjoyable, regardless of the result. You're watching players develop, you're watching players express themselves on the pitch in a way that you don't always see in the first team. There's less pressure, the stakes are lower, the whole nature of academy football, at least at United, which I think is really good, is that it's about player development and it's about players learning and expressing themselves on the pitch. And so, like you say, just seeing some of those basics, a player diverting their run and being found in the box by a cutback. These are such simple things.
We dream of those days.
We just don't see it in the first team that much. So yeah, definitely, it's a big pull for me, and it's why a lot of people follow the academy, as well as obviously the importance of it to the club. Seeing players break through into the first team, and more often than not, a conversation we've had a few times of players that have broken through is, we say, this player looks like he's been playing first team football for years, and it's often because they are without the pressure and they're without the kind of the rot that happens in the first team. That's how I describe it. So often, I think it was pointed out with Tyler Fredrickson when he made a couple of his early appearances at centre back, that often these academy players coming through at United look like they are so experienced because they're just coached with the right fundamentals and the right basics. And it makes a huge difference.
Yeah, massively. So we're back to 1-1.
Yeah.
What next?
We'll talk about the winner. 92nd minute.
I love hearing about a winner.
Yes. It was Jack Fletcher found on the left wing from his role at left back, which is was really interesting for him to be playing there. cut it back to Biancheri, who picked up the ball, finished off the post, and then it deflected back off Athletic Club's keeper.
Yep.
So technically got written off as an own goal, but that's Biancheri's every day of the week. And yeah, 2-1. Lovely win.
Where does that put us? Is there a group stage? Is it a knockout? Where are we in the
yes,
cup now?
So this was our first game in this competition. Okay. So a strong start, but ultimately doesn't really affect our position. So United will be in the next few weeks facing Anderlecht, Dortmund, and Sporting, and then after those games, it will be clearer where United rank, and then whether they'll go into the kind of cup format stage of it. But yeah, I think it's a really great experience, especially playing at Old Trafford in front of a crowd. Yeah. That's important for young players to kind of learn what it's like with that added pressure, but also added privilege. To be playing at Old Trafford, it's a huge occasion.
Yeah, massively. We'll talk more about the under-21s in a minute because they've got another game. Let's move on to the under-18s then, because this one, on the face of it, this is your headline main card event. The under-18s, which up until this point had won every game, hadn't conceded a goal under Darren Fletcher, are now playing Manchester City.
Yes.
Hit me.
Yeah. Basically, the biggest game of the season that you'll get domestically, especially in the last 2 or 3 years. The under-18 North League, because the under-18 leagues are split into North and South. The under-18 North League has been completely dominated by City and United, as you'd almost expect. But even Liverpool don't really factor in that conversation very often. Very interesting.
Why is that, do you think?
It's just not very good. Their academy's just not at that level.
You think it would be there, wouldn't you? They've been a top club for 60 years more.
I think at the top end they can produce some of the top level players, like we've seen Trent Alexander-Arnold come through. But certainly not at the volume or overall quality of United or City or some of the other top academies in the country. They have improved their recruitment, I'd say, at academy level, kind of 15 to 18 age range. Obviously, we've seen they brought in Rio and Gamoa, who's now doing amazing things in their first team. So I think they're trying to improve it, but they don't really compete with City or United, and this is always going to be the biggest game of the season.
Okay.
It's basically a title 6-pointer with where the two teams are at, and going into it, obviously United have had this perfect start to the season under Darren Fletcher, but it was always going to be a little bit different to the games that we've played so far. It was always going to be the toughest challenge so far, and it was really a tale of two completely juxtaposed halves. The first half characterised by United's dominance, playing the way you'd almost expect City to be playing, based on their reputation and the common association with them, pressing intensely and keeping hold of a lot of the ball. That was exactly how United played. It's interesting to note as well that Darren Fletcher named 2 under-15 players in the starting 11, in Duka and Koto and JJ Gabriel, which I think is quite a refreshing deviation from how United usually deal with fast-tracking players.
Okay.
A few other clubs do this quite aggressively, where they'll throw in, a 14 or 15-year-old who's very highly rated and really push them early. United tend to hold back on that a little bit more, even if a player is very highly rated, and that could just be a byproduct of the pressure that's associated with playing for United. But it does seem like either Darren Fletcher has a different philosophy on this, or United in general are kind of catching up with the times in terms of how early these players are getting fast-tracked. Okay. But yeah, it was quite a show of confidence to start 2 of these players in the attacking line, Duka and Koto playing on the right and JJ Gabriel through the middle. And to start off with, it worked out perfectly. So JJ Gabriel opened the scoring. He's just had a fantastic start to the season, and there's so much excitement and hype around him, kind of understandably so, because when you've got a 14-year-old coming in and dominating under games, playing against players 3 or 4 years older than him, it's not normal, and it's always going to get picked up on.
What talk to me about him as a player. So I've seen, all I see from him, to my shame, because I don't watch enough academy games, is highlights and snippets. I see a very good touch. I see what seems to be very good position in the final third. His dribbling looks good. He's a decent finisher. Obviously, all the things you want from a forward. But what is it about him that he's playing 4 years older than he should be, and others aren't? What's so special about him?
I think What I'd say is it's the speed of thought and speed of kind of decision making in terms of changing direction, deciding what he's going to do ahead of time, and just having this innate understanding of what his defender's doing, being able to read his defender's intentions, and make the snap decisions in a split second. At the very top level, I think that's what separates the really young superstars from the other players at that age and at that level. All of the attacking players playing for Manchester United's academy or for City's academy, they're going to be superb technically. Yeah. That's kind of a given. So although he is outstanding technically, among the best in his age, that's not going to be the real difference maker. I think the real difference maker is his understanding of the game and kind of how quickly he can make these decisions and process what's going on around him, because he's not even rapid at this age. There's still a lot of physical development. He's not that strong, but he seems to just be able to create separation at the right times, send his defender off balance, and he's got a lot of flair and such an exciting attacking style that he's just one of those wingers that really gets you off your seat.
It's exciting. It's a good point, that, because fundamentally, when you look at sort of even just league football from League 2 up to the Premier League, almost all of those players can dribble in a straight line with the ball close to their feet, can ping a pass 50 yards 99 times out of 100, in sort of controlled settings, can strike the ball cleaner than you'll ever do it. But it's piecing it all together piecing it all together consistently and doing it amongst other people who are as good as you. Yeah. That is what, there's no reason bio sort of physically why Nathan Redmond couldn't be as good as Eden Hazard. Mm-hmm. You can probably do a lot of the similar things, but doing it time after time after time and reading the opposition, doing it with that correct timing and consistency is what sets people apart at every level, isn't it?
Absolutely. Yeah. I think real a real judgment of technical ability is whether you can maintain those amazing technical standards while under pressure and at high intensity, high speeds. JJ Gabriel is absolutely capable of doing that, and that's really kind of what is setting him apart. He's got, physically, although he's not really fast or really strong, his body allows him to make these quick changes of direction. He's got quite elastic limbs. Okay. Some people have, I don't want to make a quality comparison, but some people have compared the way he's built to kind of Neymar in terms of the way he moves. And it's that kind of thing that really kind of sets young players apart at that level.
So he got the first goal.
He got the first goal. It was a cushioned ball down from Samuel Lusail. JJ Gabriel ran onto it, ran it into the box, and then squared up his defender. Kind of an unorthodox shimmy and then fake shot, took it onto his right foot, cut past his defender, and then finished far post across goal. Really, really fantastic goal, and again just showed the kind of speed of execution, because you could see that his defender, who by the way he's an established England youth international, playing at a really, really respectable level, could not keep up with what he was doing and the kind of speed that he was executing what he was doing. So really, really impressive stuff.
Brilliant. And it got even better after that. United going 2-0 up.
Yeah, United continued to sustain the same pressure that they had. This time they won a free kick near the edge of the box. Jim Thwaites stepped up to it, who, at this level is one of the most incredible free kick takers I've ever seen. Last year he scored something like 5 or 6 free kicks, and it feels like his success rate from these positions is almost like 50-50. Something like that. It's really quite impressive. This one he stepped up to. It was kind of a little bit off centre to the right. Yeah. And
a position where you would think it might suit a left footer, bending it sort of near side.
Yeah, definitely you'd expect that. But with Thwaites, he can hit him from anywhere. And he stepped up to it with a really quite extreme angle. He kind of was facing almost 45 degrees towards the corner flag.
He was looking almost parallel with the goal line, wasn't he?
Yeah.
The goal line's here, and he's looking, like you said, towards the corner flag, almost sort of the byline kind of thing.
Stepped up to it and just got the most incredible whip round it. And it was an amazing combination of pace and placement on the ball.
But if you haven't seen it, go and check it out. It's quite easy to obviously go on Twitter or wherever. It's not difficult to find it. It is an absolutely sensational free kick.
Yeah.
The way he hits it, the way he approaches the ball, like I said, the whip almost back over his shoulder, the way he strikes it, with such pace on it and such sort of curl on it.
Yeah,
It's
straight
amazing.
into the top left corner.
Yeah.
Really, really wonderful free kick, and kind of what you expect from him from those positions, because he's. I don't know if it's just this God-given talent he's got, or if he practices them for hours after training every day. I'll have to ask someone about that. But yeah, really, really impressive, and again, just a top game from him. I think this season he's really, really picked up some attention for some of his performances, because it's not just the set piece scenarios that he really shines. He's developing into a really well-rounded midfielder, and some people are starting to make the shouts about is he ready to come and contribute in Ruben Amorim's first team, considering the problems that we're having in the midfield? And I think it's a question worth asking.
Definitely. We don't need to dwell on it too much, but that was where the fun stopped, wasn't it?
The fun did stop there.
Yeah.
The second half, like I said, was a kind of completely different story.
Yeah.
City had been quite passive in the first half. Just didn't seem to have the hunger or the energy to compete with United, but that changed. They brought this really newfound aggression and drive in the second half, and I think United's inexperience, being such a young team, showed through a little bit. And City being very physical, a very tall team for an under-18 side, eventually United kind of became overwhelmed, and so very early in the second half, Tyrone Samba for City pulled one back. A little bit of luck, because it was a hopeful cross from quite some way out that it kind of swerved past its intended target, and then one of those ones that just loops into the net caught the keeper off guard, and it was kind of difficult to do anything about. And amazingly, that was the first goal that United have conceded.
That's mental, isn't it? How many games in are we?
This was a sixth.
That is amazing.
Yeah, really, really incredible.
And it stopped there 2-1 United. Yeah, we've won.
Yeah, well, when it went in, I was thinking, right, I'll come on the review and I'll say Joe or Jay, depending on who was
usually
here.
Jay, but it's me
usually
today.
Jay.
Yeah.
Something awful has happened. United have conceded their first goal of the season.
No!
But it would be in the context of a win, but unfortunately not.
Okay. What else happened?
Yeah, so City really, really found a kind of a dominant streak. And just before 70 minutes, they scored a quick-fire double that really compounded United's woes. It was Floyd Samba, the brother and twin of Tyrone Samba, and Harrison Miles. Miles' goal was quite an impressive low-driven strike from range, so fair play. And City very quickly had found themselves 3-2 up.
Yeah.
So United already with an uphill climb to face. And things got even worse.
Great.
At 81 minutes, Fred Heath, United's keeper, was shown a straight red for a tackle just outside the box. Just mistimed it a bit, and it was difficult because he was dealing with a kind of underhit back pass, so he was chasing it down. City striker Teddy Lamb was also chasing it down, and he got there first. Heath just kind of mistimed it, trying to compensate for that, and was shown a straight red.
Teddy Lamb and Fred Heath sound so much like cricketers from like the 1800s.
I think Jim Thwaites goes in that category as well.
These are some of the most old school names I've ever heard. These are like when you look back at like United's top goal scorers from the 1902
some old
when we first got a new name. It's like Fred Heath. These are great names.
They're brilliant names. Yeah, absolutely.
So then we're down to 10 men.
And the free kick that was taken as a result was scored by Floyd Samba. At that point, it was kind of game over.
2 goals down, a man down.
Yeah. Really difficult one for United, especially considering how dominant they were in the first half. Given the inexperience and the youth in that side. But yeah, I think the thing is, in situations like this, the development and the lessons learned are always going to be so much more important than the results. I think that should be a fundamental part of the academy, is that you prioritise creating good young players and people ahead of winning silverware and winning games. It will be a great learning experience for the young players.
Yeah. Let's move on then to the final game. Then we've got the under-21s against Crystal Palace.
Yep.
Back in PL2.
Back in PL2.
What happened?
The Peninsula Stadium in Salford. So yeah, later that same day, unfortunately, there was no broadcast for this game because it clashes with the United's PL game, which makes no sense at all. But is what it is. So there were highlights posted after the game, but unfortunately, obviously wasn't able to watch the whole game. United did win 4-1.
Good.
Obviously carrying the momentum of their win in midweek, and also similarly to the under-18s before the City game, had won every game this season so far. So a really, really fantastic start for both the under-18s and the 21s. I think part of that is down to the fact that this under-21 team is mainly comprised of the players that have been so dominant domestically for the under-18s in the past couple of seasons. In the first half, it was a Devaney goal. He's been playing at centre-back this season, which is quite interesting because typically he plays as a kind of defensive-minded midfielder.
Okay.
United did similar with Jace Fitzgerald last season, where he was a midfielder playing at centre-back, and again, similar to Fletcher playing at left-back against Athletic Club. It's just useful experience to be playing in different positions, different roles, and getting a better understanding of the game and their positioning. Biancheri got a touch in the box, laid it off to Devaney, who finished really nice, low into the bottom right corner. Can't say much about the build-up or anything like that because, again, no broadcast.
Why don't they release the full 90 minutes?
I don't know. Resources, I guess.
Surely it's recorded though if they've got the highlights.
Yeah, you'd think so. There are usually, or sometimes there are extended highlights that come out, but they'll rarely release a full 90.
Because they do the full 90s of all the men's games.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't even know that, but on the United's website you have to pay.
Yeah.
But they do release the entire game of every game.
Yeah, no, you make a good point. Like the games, no doubt, are recorded in full.
Yeah. Even just for training purposes, they're going to record them, aren't they?
Yeah. So to be fair, they probably should do that. A little bit frustrating that they don't, but anyway. Going into the second half, Devaney returned the favour for Biancheri. It was a lovely cross from the right wing, finding Biancheri from really close range to head in. And I just want to point out Biancheri because he was fantastic midweek against Athletic Club. He was, really, really key to changing the momentum of that game and providing the difference. And he excelled in a similar way against Crystal Palace. Obviously, so good for the under-18s and the 21s last season. And continuing that great form. There's a little bit of a international competition going on at the moment between Wales and Canada, who he's eligible to represent internationally.
Okay.
He's kind of been doing training with both and playing for the youth teams on either side. He's a highly rated player, and maybe recently has gone a little bit more under the radar with Chido Obi being the primary striker.
Where's he in all this, by the way?
He's still playing for the under-21s and getting minutes and training with the first team, but he's in a kind of, I think he's in a bit of a transitional phase at the moment because obviously there's so much expectation around him with the involvement that he got towards the end of last season. I think with him, it's about learning the kind of smaller details of the game, of being a striker when you're not getting loads of chances to run in behind, as he did in the under-18 under-18 level. It'll take time, and these players, their form ebbs and flows. So at the moment, Biancheri is enjoying a really good run of form. He was key to this performance from the sounds of things, but obviously don't really know the full story. And it was in the second half Shea Lacey that really, really stood up, and he scored a brace, one of which was a fantastic free kick. A lot of really, really good free kicks. I was going to say, that's 3 in 3 games now. What's going on here? Because at top level, no one's scoring free kicks that often. It's weird because you'd think technically there's not much different that's happening there. No. I guess it's the pressure, something like that. But this one was wrapped around the left of Crystal Palace's wall, into the bottom left corner, actually really similar to the one that was scored against United's under-21s at Athletic Club, but on the other side. And just the quality that you expect from Shea Lacey. I remember before he broke through into the under-18s, there were loads of clips that would come out from him scoring tons of free kicks at kind of under 16 and under 15 level. We didn't see that as much at under 18 level, but he's definitely capable of that, and he showed it against Palace. And then the second goal was really, really fantastic. It was Jace Fitzgerald spraying a diagonal out to the right wing, kind of cushioned it as he was running, really, really perfect touch, bringing it into his run. And he shifted the ball past his defender in the box onto his right foot, finished across goal, almost a little bit similar to the goal that JJ Gabriel scored for the under-18s, but on the other side. United, apart from conceding a second half goal, which was a kind of top corner shot from quite a way out, not much you can do about it. Seems like another really dominant performance from United.
Brilliant. It's nice to watch and to have some news about United winning games. I know we didn't win everything this week, but it's good to actually get you on here and be able to hear about us doing well.
Bring a little bit of positivity.
Level. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So overall, good week then, or
always a good week.
Damaged by the Derby loss?
No, I think United could lose every game in a week at academy level, and there would be positives to take from it. Good. Which I feel like is not always the case at first team level. There's always lessons to be learnt, and there's always development to be gained, whether you're winning or losing. And that's certainly the philosophy that the academy has. So I'm happy regardless of the results.
Brilliant. Right, thank you very much, Finn.
Thank you for having me.
It's been excellent having you on. Hopefully I've stood in manfully for Jay. I'm sure he'll be back with you next week.
Done a wonderful job.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for joining us at home as well. Get your thoughts in the comments below. Should any of these guys be helping out, be drafted in to try and save Ruben Amorim? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks again, Finn. We'll see you in a bit.